Women in coaching positions or decision makers is truly beyond pathetic in sports. Stephanie White makes women look bad. Zero basketball awareness. A lot of Fever fans are scratching their heads like me going, what was the point of signing Chloe Bibby if you were going to not play her?
And it's are all things that we liked, and now we get an opportunity to see. She came in, she studied the offense.
She could knock down a three. She's a stretch four. We got a stretch four, but we're not going to use her.
I remember specifically her shooting. She was shooting that thing, man. She was stretching the floor, and the Indiana Fever needs that. They need somebody that can help stretch that floor.
Why would you sign a sharpshooter like Chloe Bibby and then keep her glued to the bench? Fans are outraged, confused, and questioning Stephanie White's judgment. What could Bibby have offered the Fever in their tough loss to the Sparks, and why wasn't she even given a chance?
We're down to giving her 4 minutes? I don't get it. She's arguably, I'm not even sure it's arguably, she's the most athletic player on this team.
The answers will leave you scratching your head. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. 3-point shooting wins games, but what happens when you bench your best option? That's exactly what happened to the Fever in their loss against the Sparks, and let's just say, it's not a great look.
Because of course, Stephanie White gets a weapon, and look, that's what it looks like Chloe Bibby is. 0 of 1 from 3-point range. No points, no assist, no rebounds, not involved. Is potentially a knockdown. You shoot her the ball on the outside, boom, she knocks it down.
The Fever shot a dismal 24% from beyond the arc, sinking only 6 of their 25 attempts. Meanwhile, the Sparks didn't dominate by any stretch. They hit just 31% themselves, but it was enough to expose a glaring problem on the Fever's side. They had no consistent outside threat when it mattered most. Here's where Chloe Bibby comes into play. Known for her sharpshooting abilities, Bibby sat on the bench, watching the action unfold without ever stepping on the court.
Sophie Cunningham, wide ass open quite a few times for the ball, didn't get it. But real quick, Sophie had 8 last night, 2 3-pointers.
Picture this, Sophie Cunningham, who struggled with her shot all season, was left wide open on multiple occasions. She had good looks from beyond the arc but clanked brick after brick. Now imagine plugging in Bibby, a player who brings not just shooting accuracy but competence in exactly those kinds of moments.
What's the deal? Why would you leave Dee Dee in when you have Chloe? Quote, we need some reliable outside shooting to spread the floor. Let's just leave that stretch 4 on the bench. Steph White. We signed Chloe Bibby just to take her out of the rotation. I don't get it. I really don't.
Would one adjustment have shifted the balance for the Fever? Let's not even talk about the fact that Bibby is shooting above 40% from deep during her practice scrimmages this season. When your team is throwing up bricks, and your best shooter is parked on the bench, what exactly is the strategy here? Numbers don't lie, and they tell a frustrating story for fans. The Fever's overall offensive efficiency during that game was one of their lowest of the season, mostly due to their inability to hit open perimeter shots. If Bibby had stepped in for even a few key possessions, maybe we'd be talking about a totally different outcome.
Steph is a weirdo for that. They were barely shooting above 30% from 3 until the end of the fourth. When Bibby is in, Arie doesn't pass when she's wide open. Instead, Arie drives through a crowded lane. We see a lot of that on this team. White loves control, reigns for everyone. And it didn't occur to her that maybe Bibby could have been a spark from deep? It's strange.
So, what's the point of signing a specialist if you're going to let her talent gather dust on the sideline? Chloe Bibby wasn't just a missed opportunity during the game, she was the team's answer, sitting there, waiting, while the Fever were screaming for someone to stop the scoring drought. But Bibby wasn't the only player ignored. Let's talk about the broader coaching decisions that left fans furious. It's one thing to lose, but it's another to frustrate your entire fanbase in the process. Stephanie White managed to do both in the Fever's latest game, leaving fans furious over her decisions. The main target of their anger? Two names keep coming up, Chloe Bibby and Michaela Onyenwere.
I've been waiting for her to come in and get some threes. Nah, how about no? How about you gets none and you like it? The Indiana Fever and the coach looks like they don't care today. Chloe Bibby should be playing since we decided defense is not our thing today. Playing every other day on the road, team looks sluggish. Why is she not in? ?
Bibby only played a little under 3 minutes. Onyenwere? 4. Fans didn't just question these decisions, they outright condemned them. One fan summed it up with frustration, saying, "We need some reliable outside shooting to spread the floor. Let's just leave that stretch 4 on the bench." And it's hard to argue when the team shot 24% from deep. What makes it worse is that Bibby, known for her ability to hit outside shots, was signed precisely to help with situations like this. Meanwhile, players who struggled to find their rhythm stayed on the court, ensuring the Sparks never felt real pressure from the Fever offense. White's decision-making made fans ask, if Bibby can't get minutes in this situation, then what's the point of having her on the roster at all?
Women in coaching positions or decision makers is truly beyond pathetic in sports. Stephanie White makes women look bad. Zero basketball awareness.
This isn't just about Bibby, though. Michaela Onyenwere, another solid player who could have delivered spark off the bench, was given only 4 minutes of play. For a game that spent long stretches crying out for energy and effort on both ends of the floor, that benching didn't sit well with fans either. On top of that, the substitution pattern seemed confusing, disrupting the team's rhythm and creating more frustration. It was the type of coaching that had fans calling Stephanie White a total idiot, with others outright saying, "I can't stand her."
And Kelsey Mitchell had a gargantuan game. Of course, Stephanie White, instead of letting her roll, this is the one thing I can honestly say I'm impressed with. Kelsey Mitchell is actually shooting well from the field lately. Took her out of the game. I don't understand what the deal is with that. I really don't.
Then there's Kelsey Mitchell. She dropped an incredible 34 points, doing everything in her power to keep the Fever in the game. The question fans couldn't get out of their heads? What if Bibby had been on the floor to support her? That floor spacing, that reliable outside shot, it could have been the shift that changed the game. Instead, fans were left wondering if the Fever are wasting their potential alongside their sharpshooting specialist. So what's next for the Fever? Let's wrap this up with a look at what fans are demanding and why this could be a turning point for the team.